First contact and tragedy. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the ESS Horizon, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel. Captain Amelia Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the star-speckled void. After months of uneventful travel, the crew was growing restless, eager for a discovery that would justify their long journey into uncharted space. "Captain, I'm picking up something on long-range scanners," Lieutenant Jack Harper called out, his voice tinged with excitement. "It's faint, but it looks like a distress signal." Chen's heart raced as she moved to Harper's station. "Origin: unknown, ma'am. It's not matching any known patterns in our database." A hush fell over the bridge as the implications sank in. This could be it. First contact with an alien civilization. "Plot a course, Lieutenant. Let's see what we found." As the horizon changed direction, Chen addressed her crew. "This is what we've trained for. Whatever we find out there, remember your training and our mission: to explore, to learn, and to help if we can." Hours passed as the ship drew closer to the source of the signal. Finally, a small dot appeared on their view screen, growing larger with each passing minute. "My God," whispered Commander David Okafor, the ship's XO. "It's a ship." The alien vessel was unlike anything they had ever seen. Its sleek, organic design suggested a level of technology far beyond Earth's capabilities. But even from a distance, they could see the damage. Great rents in its hull, debris floating around it like a shroud. "Life signs?" Chen asked, her voice tight. Harper's fingers flew over his console. "Faint, but present. Multiple readings, concentrated in what appears to be the central section of the ship." Chen nodded grimly. "Prep a boarding party. Full containment protocols. We don't know what we're dealing with, but if there are survivors, we're going to help them." The next few hours were a flurry of activity as the Horizon's crew prepared for first contact. Chen led the boarding party herself, stepping into the airlock with a mixture of trepidation and excitement. As they entered the alien ship, the devastation became clear. Bodies littered the corridors, their forms humanoid but clearly not human. Their skin was a pale lavender, and instead of hair, they had delicate translucent tendrils that seemed to glow faintly. "What could have done this?" Okafor muttered, his voice thick with emotion. They pushed deeper into the ship, following the life sign readings. The architecture was beautiful, all sweeping curves and pulsing bioluminescent lights. But everywhere, there were signs of a desperate battle. Finally, they reached a sealed chamber. The door was dented and scored, but it had held. Harper worked on the alien controls, and with a hiss, the door slid open. Inside, huddled together in fear, were a group of alien children. Their large, opalescent eyes widened at the sight of the humans. One of the older ones, barely adolescent by the look of it, stepped forward protectively. It spoke, a series of musical chirps and trills that the universal translator struggled to decipher. Finally, it managed a rough translation. "Please, help us. The Vorax. They killed everyone. We are all that's left." Chen felt her heart break. She knelt down, removing her helmet to show her face. "It's okay," she said softly. "You're safe now. We'll take care of you." The alien child hesitated, then reached out a trembling hand to touch Chen's face. A look of wonder passed over its features. "I am Zira," it said. "We are the last of the Luminary. Will you be our new family?" Chen looked at the frightened faces of the alien children, then back at her crew. She saw in their eyes the same determination she felt. These children had lost everything, and the universe had brought them together. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. "Yes," Chen said, her voice firm. "We will be your family now." As they began the process of evacuating the children to the horizon, Chen knew that their lives, and the course of human history, had just changed forever. The stars had given them a tremendous responsibility, and she swore they would not fail these children who had already lost so much. The journey back to Earth would be long, and Chen knew they would face opposition. But looking at the grateful faces of the luminary children, she knew it was worth it. Humanity had just taken its first steps into a larger universe, and they would do it with compassion and determination. As the Horizon pulled away from the wreckage of the luminary ship, carrying its precious cargo of orphaned alien children, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of destiny. Whatever came next, they would face it together, human and luminary, a new kind of family forged in the depths of space. Journey to Earth and initial challenges. The ESS Horizon hummed with nervous energy as it began its long journey back to Earth. Captain Amelia Chen stood in the makeshift nursery they had set up in one of the cargo bays, watching the luminary children sleep. Their bioluminescent tendrils pulsed gently, casting a soft, ethereal glow throughout the room. "How are they doing?" Commander David Okafor asked, stepping up beside her. Chen sighed. "As well as can be expected. They're resilient, but they've been through so much." The biggest challenge so far had been communication. The universal translator was struggling with the complex tonal language of the luminary, and cultural misunderstandings were frequent. "Captain to the bridge," Lieutenant Harper's voice crackled over the intercom. When Chen arrived, Harper's face was grim. "We've received a transmission from Earth Command. They're not happy about our passengers." The message was terse and cold. Earth was not prepared for alien refugees, especially children. They were ordered to divert to the nearest space station for quarantine and processing. Chen's jaw clenched. "Send a reply. Tell them we're continuing on course to Earth. These children need stability and care, not to be treated like lab specimens." "They won't like that," Okafor warned. "Then they'll have to come out here and stop us themselves," Chen replied, her voice steel. As the days turned into weeks, the crew of the Horizon found themselves becoming increasingly attached to their alien charges. Zira, the oldest, became a bridge between the two species, her quick mind grasping English with remarkable speed. One day, as Chen was teaching Zira about Earth's solar system, the young luminary asked, "Will your people truly accept us, Captain Chen?" Chen hesitated, then decided on honesty. "It won't be easy, Zira. Some will welcome you with open arms. Others will be afraid, but we'll face it together." Zira's tendrils glowed a soft blue, which Chen had learned indicated thoughtfulness. "We will try to be worthy of your protection." As they neared the edges of colonized space, the Horizon encountered its first real opposition. A small fleet of Earth ships moved to intercept them. "They're ordering us to halt and prepare for boarding," Harper reported, his voice tense. Chen stood, her decision made. "Open a channel to all ships." When the connection was established, she spoke clearly and firmly. "This is Captain Amelia Chen of the ESS Horizon. We are carrying refugees, children who have lost everything. We will not stop, we will not turn aside. If you fire upon us, you fire upon innocent children and your fellow humans. The choice is yours." For a tense moment, silence reigned. Then, slowly, the ships parted, allowing the Horizon passage. As they approached Earth, media frenzy erupted. News of the alien orphans had leaked, and the world was divided. Protesters gathered, some welcoming the children, others demanding they be turned away. In orbit above the blue marble of Earth, Chen gathered her crew and the luminary children. "I won't lie to you," she said, looking at each face in turn. "What comes next will be hard. But look around you. Human and luminary, we're a family now. And families stick together." Zira stepped forward, her tendrils glowing with a rainbow of emotions. "You saved us, taught us, protected us. Now let us show your world what the luminary can offer in return." As the Horizon began its descent towards the United Nations landing pad in New York, Chen felt a mixture of fear and hope. They were about to change the course of human history, to open Earth's doors to the stars. The ship touched down amidst a sea of flashing cameras and shouting voices. Chen took a deep breath, then hit the control to lower the ramp. She took Zira's hand in her own. "Ready?" she asked. Zira's tendrils glowed with determination. ready. Together, human and luminary, they stepped out to face the world and whatever future awaited them among the stars. Integration and adversity. The first rays of sunlight crept over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold. Captain Amelia Chen stood at the window of the temporary housing unit, watching as New York City slowly came to life. Behind her, the soft bioluminescent glow of the sleeping luminary children cast dancing shadows on the walls. It had been 6 months since their arrival on Earth, and every day brought new challenges. The luminaries struggled with Earth's environment. The gravity was stronger than they were used to, and the atmosphere denser. Simple tasks like walking or breathing sometimes left them exhausted. A soft rustle made Chen turn. Zira was awake, her tendrils pulsing with a mix of colors that Chen had learned to interpret as curiosity and concern. "Another nightmare?" Chen asked softly. Zira nodded. "I saw the Voraks again. Their ships blocking out the stars." Chen sat beside the young alien, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "They can't hurt you here, Zira. You're safe." But even as she spoke the words, Chen wasn't sure she believed them. The threat of the Voraks, the mysterious force that had destroyed the luminaries' home, loomed like a shadow over their future. As the other children stirred, Chen helped them prepare for another day of tests and interviews. Scientists were fascinated by the luminaries' unique biology, particularly their bioluminescent tendrils, which seemed to serve as both sensory organs and a form of communication. At the research facility, Dr. Emily Sato greeted them with excitement. "We've made a breakthrough," she announced. "The children's tendrils. They're not just for communication. They can manipulate energy fields on a quantum level." The implications were staggering. If harnessed, this ability could revolutionize everything from energy production to space travel. As word of the luminaries' potential spread, public opinion began to shift. Many who had been wary now saw the children as a valuable asset. But with acceptance came new dangers. Anti-alien groups, fearful of the changes the luminary might bring, grew more vocal and violent. Security around the children had to be increased, limiting their already restricted freedom. One evening, as Chen was reviewing security protocols with her team, an alarm blared through the facility. On the monitors, she watched in horror as a group of masked intruders breached the perimeter. "Get the children to the safe room," Chen ordered, grabbing a stun baton and rushing towards the danger. The ensuing battle was chaotic. The intruders were well armed and determined, but they hadn't counted on the fierce protectiveness of the Horizon's crew, nor the unexpected abilities of the luminary themselves. As Chen rounded a corner, she saw a masked figure aiming a weapon at Zira. Without thinking, she threw herself in front of the young alien. Pain exploded in her shoulder as the shot connected. Then something extraordinary happened. Zira's tendrils began to glow with an intensity Chen had never seen before. The air around them seemed to ripple, and the attacker was suddenly thrown backwards as if hit by an invisible force. When it was over, the intruders were subdued, but the damage was done. The attack had made headlines worldwide, and the debate over the luminary's presence on Earth reached a fever pitch. In the aftermath, as Chen recovered in the medical bay, she received a visit from an unexpected source. Admiral Jonathan Hayes, the head of Earth's defense forces, stood awkwardly at her bedside. "I owe you an apology, Captain," he said gruffly. "I was wrong about the luminary. They're not a threat. They might be our greatest asset." Chen raised an eyebrow. "Sir," Hayes sighed heavily, "we've detected something at the edge of our solar system. Something big, and not friendly. I think the Voraks might have followed you home." The word sent a chill down Chen's spine. She thought of Zira's nightmares, of the destroyed luminary ship. If the Voraks were truly coming, Earth would need every advantage it could get. "What do you need from us, Admiral?" Chen asked, already knowing the answer. "Everything," Hayes replied. "We need everything those kids can give us, and we need you to lead them." As Hayes left, Chen closed her eyes, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. They had saved the luminary children, integrated them into Earth society, and protected them from those who would do them harm. Now, it seemed, it was the luminaries' turn to save humanity. The true test was yet to come, and the fate of two species would hang in the balance. Threat from the stars. The war room of Earth's Defense Command was a hive of activity. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data from the outer reaches of the solar system, each blip representing a Vorax ship drawing ever closer. Captain Amelia Chen stood at the center of it all, her face grim as she absorbed the gravity of the situation. "Their technology is unlike anything we've ever seen," Admiral Hayes said, his voice tight with stress. "Our best weapons barely scratch their shields. At this rate, they'll reach Earth in less than a month." Chen nodded, her mind racing. "What about the luminary tech we've been developing?" Dr. Emily Sato stepped forward, her eyes bright with a mixture of excitement and fear. "We've made significant progress, but we're not there yet. We need more time." "Time is the one thing we don't have," Chen muttered. As if on cue, the door slid open and Zira entered, followed by the other luminary children. In the months since the attack on the research facility, they had grown both in size and in their control over their unique abilities. Zira's tendrils pulsed with a determined blue as she approached the central hologram. "We want to help," Zira said, her voice steady. "This is our fight too." Chen felt a surge of pride mixed with fear. These children had already lost one home to the Vorax. Now they were willing to risk everything to save their adopted planet. "It's too dangerous," Chen began, but Zira cut her off. "With respect, Captain, we're not children anymore, and we're the only ones who truly understand what we're up against." The room fell silent as humans and luminary locked eyes. Finally, Admiral Hayes spoke. "She's right. We need every advantage we can get. Captain Chen, I'm putting you in charge of a special task force. Your mission is to integrate the luminary abilities with our best technology and come up with a defense strategy." The next few weeks were a blur of activity. The luminary worked tirelessly alongside human scientists and engineers, their unique perspective leading to breakthroughs that would have taken years under normal circumstances. Zira proved to be a natural leader, her quick mind and deep understanding of both luminary and human culture bridging gaps that had seemed insurmountable. Chen watched with a mixture of pride and sorrow as the young alien she had once rescued grew into a formidable adult. As the Vorax fleet entered the inner solar system, Earth unveiled its new defenses. Satellites equipped with luminary-inspired quantum field generators created a protective web around the planet. Fighters piloted by human luminary teams practiced maneuvers that defied conventional physics. But would it be enough? The answer came sooner than anyone had hoped. A Vorax advanced scout breached the outer defenses, heading straight for Earth. It was time to put their preparations to the test. Chen found herself in the cockpit of the lead interceptor, with Zira by her side as co-pilot. As they rocketed into the upper atmosphere, Chen couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. "Zira," she said softly, "whatever happens up there, I want you to know, I'm proud of you. Of all of you." Zira's tendrils glowed with a warm golden light. "And we're proud to call Earth our home. Thanks to you, Amelia." As they broke through the cloud cover, the Vorax ship came into view. It was massive, easily dwarfing their interceptor, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light. "All units, engage on my mark." Chen's voice was steady as she addressed the squadron. "Remember your training. Trust in each other. We can do this." The Vorax ship fired first, a beam of energy so intense it ionized the air around it. But as it approached the Earth fighters, something extraordinary happened. The luminary co-pilot's tendrils began to glow, and a shimmering field appeared around each ship, deflecting the deadly beam. "Now," Chen shouted, "hit them with everything we've got." The battle that followed was like nothing in Earth's history. Human determination and ingenuity combined with luminary quantum manipulation, creating a symphony of destruction that tore through the Vorax defenses. For a moment, it seemed like victory was within reach. Then a lucky shot from the Vorax ship struck Chen and Zira's interceptor, sending them into a tailspin. As warning alarms blared around them, Chen looked at Zira. In that moment, no words were needed. Human and luminary reached out, hands and tendrils intertwining. Together, they poured every ounce of their will into the ship's systems. The interceptor's glow intensified, becoming a brilliant star streaking across the sky. With the last of their power, they drove straight into the heart of the Vorax ship. There was a flash of light, brighter than 1,000 suns, and then silence. As the debris of the Vorax scout rained down harmlessly into the ocean, the rest of the squadron searched desperately for any sign of Chen and Zira. Hours passed with no response. Just as hope began to fade, a faint signal was detected. A rescue ship was dispatched, and against all odds, they found a battered escape pod floating amidst the wreckage. Inside, unconscious but alive, were Chen and Zira, still holding on to each other. As news of the victory spread, celebrations erupted around the world. But for those who knew the truth, the real battle was yet to come. The Vorax main fleet was still out there, and they would not take this defeat lightly. In a hospital room overlooking the jubilant New York City, Chen and Zira recovered, their beds pushed close together. As they watched the fireworks paint the sky, Zira spoke softly. "Do you think we can win this war, Amelia?" Chen squeezed the luminary's hand gently. "I don't know, Zira, but I do know this. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together, human and luminary, as one family." Outside, the stars twinkled, holding both promise and threat. The greatest challenge of Earth's history loomed on the horizon, but for the first time, humanity would not face it alone. Triumph of unity. The sky above Earth was alive with light. Thousands of ships, human and Vorax, danced a deadly ballet among the stars. On the bridge of the ESS Horizon, now refitted as the flagship of Earth's defense fleet, Captain Amelia Chen and Zira stood side by side, their faces illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. Multiple Vorax cruisers breaking through Sector 7. A young lieutenant called out, his voice tense. Chen's eyes narrowed. "Redirect Squadrons 3 and 4 to intercept. Zira, can your team handle it?" Zira's tendrils pulsed with a determined blue. "We're on it." She turned to a group of luminary, their hands hovering over complex interfaces that merged their quantum manipulation abilities with human technology. With a series of gestures that looked almost like a dance, they began to weave energy fields around the embattled human ships. The battle had been raging for days. The Vorax, enraged by the destruction of their scout ship, had arrived in force. Earth's new defenses had held so far, but the strain was beginning to show. Resources were dwindling and fatigue was setting in among both humans and luminary. As Chen watched another Vorax ship explode under the combined assault of human weapons and luminary energy manipulation, she couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. Just a year ago, the idea of humans and aliens fighting side by side would have seemed like a fantasy. A sudden alarm jolted her from her thoughts. "Captain." It was Dr. Emily Sato, her voice crackling over the comm. "We've detected a massive energy buildup in the Vorax flagship. Whatever they're planning, it's big enough to punch through our defenses." Chen's mind raced. They had suspected the Vorax had been holding something back, some secret weapon they were saving for the final push. Now it seemed their time had run out. "All ships, fall back to secondary positions," Chen ordered. "Zira, I need options." For a moment, the bridge was silent save for the beeping of consoles and the distant rumble of explosions. Then Zira spoke, her voice quiet but firm. "There might be a way, but it's dangerous, and it would require a sacrifice." Chen met Zira's gaze, understanding dawning in her eyes. "Tell me." As Zira explained her plan, Chen felt a mix of pride and sorrow. It was audacious, perhaps even insane, but it just might work. and it would require both of them. "Are you sure about this?" Chen asked softly. Zira's tendrils glowed with a warm, golden light. "You gave us a home when we had nothing. Now it's our turn to protect it." Chen nodded, then turned to address the bridge. "Listen up, everyone. I'm transferring command to Admiral Hayes. Commander Okafor, you have the horizon." Confusion and concern rippled through the crew, but Chen had no time to explain. She and Zira rushed to the hangar bay, where a specially modified shuttle waited. As they strapped in, Chen opened a channel to the entire fleet. "This is Captain Chen. All ships, concentrate fire on the Vorax flagship's aft section. We're going to give you an opening, but you'll only have one shot. Make it count." The shuttle launched, streaking towards the massive Vorax flagship. As they approached, the enormity of their task became clear. The alien ship was the size of a small moon, bristling with weapons and surrounded by a swarm of fighter craft. "Ready?" Chen asked, her hand hovering over the controls. Zira nodded, her tendrils beginning to glow with an intensity Chen had never seen before. Together, they plunged into the heart of the Vorax defenses. Weapons fire erupted around them, but Zira's energy manipulation kept them safe, if only barely. As they neared the flagship, Chen could see the buildup of energy Sato had warned about. A massive cannon was preparing to fire, its maw glowing with unnatural light. "Now, Zira," Chen shouted. Zira's tendrils flared brilliantly, and Chen felt a surge of energy unlike anything she had ever experienced. The shuttle began to glow, becoming a spear of pure light. They struck the Vorax flagship at the exact moment its weapon fired. For a heartbeat, time seemed to stand still. Then, with a flash that outshone the sun, the Vorax flagship exploded. The shockwave rippled through space, disabling Vorax ships across the battlefield. In the aftermath, as the human fleet mopped up the remaining Vorax resistance, search parties scoured the debris field. Against all odds, they found a battered escape pod. Inside, unconscious but alive, were Chen and Zira, their hands clasped tightly together. Months later, as Earth celebrated its victory and began to rebuild, Chen stood before a massive crowd in New York City. Beside her were Zira and the other luminary, no longer refugees but honored heroes. "Today, we stand not as humans and aliens," Chen began, her voice carrying across the hushed gathering, "but as one people. The Vorax came to destroy us, but instead they united us. They showed us that our strength lies not in our differences, but in our ability to come together in the face of adversity." She paused, looking out at the sea of faces, human and luminary, their differences now a source of beauty rather than division. "The road ahead will not be easy. There are still challenges to overcome, wounds to heal, but we face the future not with fear, but with hope. For we have proven that together, there is nothing we cannot achieve." As the crowd erupted in cheers, Chen felt Zira's hand slip into her own. They had started this journey as captain and refugee, human and alien. Now they stood as family, bound by a love that transcended the stars themselves. High above, the first ships of Earth's new exploration fleet prepared to launch. With the Vorax defeated, humanity's gaze turned once more to the cosmos. But this time, they would voyage into the unknown not alone, but hand in hand with their luminary brothers and sisters. The universe, with all its wonders and dangers, awaited, and the starborn family was ready to meet it together.